You're on.
Okay, go.
Everybody deals with stress differently.
Mr. R wanted us to learn, me, Kelsey, and Emily, from his first period chemistry. And we have learned to an A level the following concepts from chapter 13 to 16 in our chemistry book. This is not an inclusive list, but my selection of concepts from each chapter that I remembered.
First, from chapter 13, we learned about sublimation, which is the change of a substance from a solid to a vapor without passing through the liquid state.
And it occurs in solids with vapor pressures that exceed atmospheric pressure near at room temperature.
I think I'm gonna pee my pants.
I learned during evaporation, only those molecules with a certain minimum kinetic energy can escape from the surface of the liquid.
Chapter 14. We talked about Dalton's law of pressure, which states that at constant volume and temperature, the total pressure excreted by a mixture of gases is equal to the sum of the partial pressures of the component gases.
We also learned why is gas easier to compress, and it's usually because all the atoms are already moving around. Since it's a gas, they're all like bouncing all over, so they have like less surface area. So more surface area, and then they come down more easily.
Chapter 14, we learned to calculate the number of moles of a contained gas requires the expression that contains the variable N. Also, the ideal gas law includes four variables, P, V, T, and N. It is usually written as P times V equals N times R times C, or P, V equals NRT.
In chapter 15, we learned about suspensions, which is when particles in a mixture settle out upon standing suspensions are heterogeneous because at least two substances can be clearly identified.
And usually the difference is that suspensions are more larger than solutions, and do not stay suspended indefinitely.
So, in chapter 15, we learned that a solvent dissolves the solute becomes dispersed in the solvent.
For 16, molarity is moles of a solute in liters of solvent, and it is what chemists use when talking about concentration. For example, if you put 36 grams of hydrochloric acid in 1 liter, which equals 1 mole, and you put 108 grams of hydrochloric acid in another liter, which equals 3 moles, the liter with 3 moles will have the most solute in it and be the most concentrated.
The differences between saturated and unsaturated solutions. So saturated contains the maximum amount of solute of a given quantity of the solvent of a constant temperature and pressure. And then the difference for unsaturated solutions is that instead of having greater solute, they have a less solute.
In chapter 16, one concept we learned was solution formation. We learned the compositions of the solvent and the solute determine whether a substance will dissolve. Stirring or agitation, temperature, and surface area of the dissolving particles determine how fast the substance will dissolve.
Yay! Woo!